Okay, Hogwarts Legacy fans, just when you thought we had broken down all of the news that we possibly could, we'd taken a look at every single frame of that gameplay trailer, you find something that you missed. But in this case, it was actually another YouTube creator. Not sure how to pronounce it. I think maybe Agito. It's Agito. I'll link their video down in the description below, but full credit goes to them for finding this. I cannot believe this much time went by, you guys, and seemingly everybody. I don't know that I have seen this anywhere else for months. I mean, this State of Play trailer came out back in March, right, guys? So the fact that we have just now found something that, to my knowledge, is completely new is just insane. So what exactly is it? Well, if you go to about 6:12, you can test this yourself in the official Hogwarts Legacy State of Play gameplay trailer. Go to around the 6:12 mark, click on the little gear icon, and make sure you slow it down to about 0.25 speed and then play it. Then when you start to play it, look in the bottom right corner, and just as it kind of goes from 6:13 to 6:14, you will see a brief glimpse, a very brief glimpse of what appears to be a HUD for the spells in Hogwarts Legacy. So if you're wondering why this looks so sort of strange with the coloring and everything here, it's because Agito took that shot, and then by adjusting things like the saturation and exposure, you can actually pull out certain parts that you couldn't see as well before. Now, I tested this myself. This is not anything Photoshopped, because when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is totally Photoshopped in. It's not real at all. Somebody would have seen this by now, right? No, I was totally wrong. It is absolutely 100% legit. You can go right now and test this yourself. I actually screenshotted the exact moment, threw it into Affinity Photo, and then started playing around with the exposure myself. And exactly, I mean, you can see these four little icons right here. The one on the right, you really can't make out what it is. I assume it's either an open space or just they transition away from it so quickly, it never even has time to render, so we can't see what that one is. Unless you look at maybe the little white piece at the bottom, like maybe that's a spell they don't have unlocked yet. Maybe they're working to earn it or something. I'm not sure. I think it's far more likely that it just transitioned away and we either couldn't see what that one is or they just don't have anything in that slot yet. So if you look at the other three, though, I think it's pretty clear what these spells are. The one at the bottom has to be Accio, right? It's got the little icon of the hand and then the arrow pointing back toward the hand. We have seen Accio featured in a number of spots throughout the gameplay trailer. We know that one's going to be in, and we know that it's going to be used to pull things toward the caster. The one on the left, this one could be a few things, but I think the most likely is Wingardium Leviosa, in a nice nod to the first Harry Potter movie, with Professor Flitwick teaching the first years how to move the feather using Wingardium Leviosa.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
And then you have the top one. This one is probably the one that I'm least certain about, but if I had to guess, I would say this is Lumos. It's clearly a wand that we see right here. And then when it extends up, it looks like there's some sort of light coming out of it there. Now, to me, the far more interesting piece of this is not so much the spells, because we knew all those spells were in the game, but it's how they're going to be used in the game. I've been replaying through the old Harry Potter games. You can check out my Let's Plays here on the channel. And one of the most frustrating things about those games is how you can have so few spells equipped at a given time. So here it seems at minimum we're going to be able to equip 4 spells. And what I'm less certain about is are they mapped to the face buttons? So on PlayStation, would they be mapped to X, square, circle, and triangle? Or are they mapped to the D-pad and then we press a direction of the D-pad and then that is sort of our active spell and we use something like R2 or R1 to actually do the casting? Now, some of you out there were hoping that you could equip all sorts of spells at a given time. I wouldn't let this worry you too much because I do think it's still possible that we see some sort of spell wheel that could be used for quick access once you start to learn even more spells in the game. I mean, we've seen this in games like Ratchet and Clank where you can hotkey some of them to the D-pad, but then you also have the full wheel you can unlock. The Witcher 3 did this as well. So I expect we'll see some sort of system like that in Hogwarts Legacy. So I think that would be a more modern approach to the way that current games are handling it rather than games of the past like Prisoner of Azkaban, which I'm replaying right now, and you can only have 3 spells equipped at a given time. And one thing about that game is it does a great job with the variety in gameplay. So it encourages you to use different types of spells, but I'm constantly having to go into the pause menu to re-equip different spells. And I just don't think Hogwarts Legacy will do that. Clearly, we're going to have 4 slots at a minimum. I think we'll be able to select even more through something like a wheel. And then these 4 here, I expect to be the ones that you can hotkey for that really quick access. Now, if you're curious about seeing how those old school Harry Potter games handled it, then check out the video on the right side of your screen. That's my latest Let's Play for Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.